Hello everyone and welcome back to the Devlog for Real Communism, my city builder game. It's been a pretty productive week, I think. Before we hop into it, please subscribe to the channel if you want to keep up with the progress of the game, and if you like the video, don't be afraid to let me know by hitting the like button down below. Now let's see this past week's progress. To start, the Steam page is live. If you go to Steam, search Real Communism, it'll pop up. That will take you to the Steam page, and if you could wishlist it, I would very much appreciate it. With that out of the way, let's talk about the development progress. I started this week by working on the animations for the farm. Right now, we've just got fully grown crops that pop up right when you select them, and we want them to grow over the course of the game time. I made some models for a few stages of growth for both corn and wheat. And then I added the mechanic that changes the model based on the stage of growth that they're at. I arbitrarily made 5 stages of growth and also arbitrarily set the growth time to 5 in-game days. Each day the model is updated, and at the end of the day the crop is harvested and the farm is reset. After running through some tests on the farm animations, I realized that I needed to add an important tool for many top-down strategy games: the ability to speed up time. I went in thinking it would be super complicated, but it was actually pretty easy. A couple of weeks ago, I very briefly talked about the inventory system and whether or not it should be global or local. I decided to go with a local inventory system. I think it adds a layer of complexity to the gameplay that would be missing in a global system. Players will need to transfer materials between buildings in order to have them operate correctly. Since I put in a time mechanic for harvesting crops, it provided the prerequisite needed to start keeping track of inventory. So I started with the farm, and this will provide the structure that I need that I can use for other buildings along the way. Further building onto the farm/food system, I took the time to create the model for the barn. The barn will be an upgrade option from the farm. It will cost additional materials to upgrade. However, upon upgrading the barn, the player will be able to purchase cows, which will be housed at the barn. I was also able to cleanly use the inventory structure from the farm to make one for the barn. Pretty smooth transition here, but to complement the barn, I added the models for the cows. Cows will be used to passively produce milk over time. I will likely add a mechanic to allow the player to choose to slaughter a cow, which will provide beef in exchange. I think this will provide an interesting choice for the player. Either continue to use the cow for a small amount of passive resources, or trade in those passive benefits for a single issuance of a larger amount of resources. Since the decision has been made to localize inventory, I decided to add a building that will help in storage and distribution: the warehouse. This building will allow players to store excess product or send product that should be sent to other buildings for processing. To accompany the warehouse, I made a truck. The truck will be used as a facilitator for transferring products to and from the warehouse. I spent way too much time on making the model for this, but I was having a lot of fun doing it, so I allowed myself to do so. After all, this is supposed to be a fun process. That's why I do it. I don't want to suck all of the fun out of it by hyper-focusing on time efficiency. But even with all the time that I put in on this model, there's still going to be so much more to do. Like the citizens, the trucks need pathfinding. Even more so, really, because they'll need to be stuck on the roads. In addition, I will need to set up the ability for the player to create routes for the trucks. But for now, the model looks pretty good, and they exist in the game. I close out the week by adding a coop and chickens. The coop, much like the barn, will be an upgrade option for the farm that will cost the player additional materials, but it will give them the ability to purchase chickens, which will be housed there. The chickens, like the cows, will passively provide a resource: the egg. Eventually, I would like to add the ability to slaughter the chicken to harvest for the chicken meat, which again creates the interesting player choice of sacrificing the passive resources for something more immediate. I feel like I'm getting a bit better on the animation side of things as well, since I worked on a few different animations this week. Hopefully my skill will continue to improve as I work more on it. And with all of the development progress now being covered, here's a short time lapse of the look of the game at this point. Not every building is here and not all of the models are shown, but it does give you a general look of how the game feels right now. This week was pretty productive. I made a few new models and animations. I also further developed some of the core mechanics of the farming system. I probably put way too much time into the truck, but it's okay, it was a good time. The Steam page is now live, which is awesome, but my channel is still so new YouTube won't allow me to post external links just yet, so for now you'll have to search for it on Steam. And now that it is live, I'll continuously ask you to wishlist it. And I can't understate how much it would mean to me if you will. It helps with the visibility of the game naturally through Steam. Obviously this is still really early in development, so I'll continue to update the page as I update the game. If you liked the video and you want to keep up with the progress of the game, please subscribe to the channel. And if you'd like more frequent, smaller updates, you can follow me on X/Twitter at Hayden_Marlowe_. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next week.